What it do? Luke here. It's been pretty lonely recently, so I decided to spend my time playing Super Smash Bros. But I don't really feel like playing Super Smash Bros, so let's play Super Smash Bros. Game that isn't Super Smash Bros. The f*** is that?
MultiVersus, arguably the most successful Super Smash Bros. Clone there is. Well, or was. For our history, let's go all the way back to the year of 1999 when the original Super Smash Bros. Game, Smash 64, released. The game's developer is the gaming legend Masahiro Sakurai, who grew up loving fighting games. Sakurai came up with the idea for the first Smash Bros. After realizing he was too good at fighting games himself and wanted people to be able to compete with him while also having much less skill. His idea was to create a game which was easy to pick up but a challenge to master. So instead of giving fighters health bars, he made fighters in the style of King of the Hill, where the objective wasn't only to defeat the opponent, but knock them off the stage and find creative ways to do so. Smash 64 came out to massive success, and this wasn't just because of the buttery smooth gameplay, but also because of the brand recognition behind it. This was the first time a Nintendo game was published where characters like Mario, Link, and Pikachu appeared on screen together. It was a crossover of a lifetime. This is what made Smash stick out from its competition. All of the characters in it already had pre-existing fan bases, and the game itself was the first of its kind, beginning Smash-like fighting games. Since Smash released, other companies have tried to mimic its success, such as Sony, who created PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
That name sucks.
And then there was Nickelodeon, who tried to use their characters such as SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
That's even worse!
Yeah, neither of those games did too well. They didn't really offer anything new to the table and felt more like cheap knockoffs rather than games that stand on their own. Then in the indie community came games such as Brawlhalla and Brawlout. Both of these games had a mix of original characters as well as characters from other games to get that sweet old brand recognition. And unlike Sony or Nickelodeon, they were actually pretty successful. They each felt fun and gave off a reason why you should play these games over Smash.
I feel like the perfect Smash clone is a game that has smooth gameplay as well as new elements to differentiate itself from its predecessor, as well as recognizable characters that the consumer would want to play as. And that's where MultiVersus comes in.
Then on that fateful day of October 29th, 2021, a leaked image was released featuring a roster of Warner Bros. Characters spanning different popular franchises such as Batman from DC Comics, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, and Steven Universe from the Steven Universe TV show. Nothing came from this image except speculation until just over 2 weeks later on November 18th, where the game was officially announced. With this announcement came unexpected features such as the game being free to play as well as duo-based. Instead of the game challenging a one-on-one competition, the developers encouraged you to play with friends to battle together. This allowed for so many fun combinations of characters. Would you and your friend want to match characters from franchises such as playing as Batman and Superman, or would you want to see how Bugs Bunny and Iron Giant would fight together? Furthermore, they even announced that voice actors would be returning to their roles from their original characters. Finally, alongside with all of that, there would be a perk system that can add up to even more customization. There was so much to love so quickly, and the July 19th release date couldn't come sooner.
There was so much to love about this game right off the bat. There was a great lineup of characters set to release at launch, and there really wasn't much that looked like you could dislike about the game.
Because of course there has to be a battle pass. I can give it a pass this time since the game is free, but the game doubles down with having everything be so damn expensive. Like, give me one reason why a character skin should cost $20. I can buy a 20-somethings TV Season 9 t-shirt with that money. And it doesn't just stop at the character skins. Everything in this game costs money. You want a new announcer? Money. You want a new background? Money. You want to buy the Founders Edition of the game? $100. But I will give credit where credit is due. This came with some exceptions such as characters. New characters were set to release in the coming months free of charge.
The build-up of the game had a lot to live up to, so how did it turn out?
The game actually came out to massive success, at least for the first few months, but more on that later. Hundreds of thousands and to even millions of players were online playing. Each character felt different from the next. There was such a good reason to play one character over another based on your playstyle. The characters each had a title to them to help you match with your playstyle. The character types were bruisers, tanks, assassins, supports, and mages. Characters like Jake and LeBron James were bruisers based on their more hand-to-hand combat with high agility. This class was more for the everyman. The tanks were characters like the Iron Giant and Superman, who were slower, heavy hitters. Assassins were characters that had melee weapons such as Finn and Arya Stark. Supports are characters such as Velma and Steven Universe, whose movesets were designed around the duo feature, and are best played with a partner. Finally, mages are characters who use more projectile weapons such as Rick Sanchez and Bugs Bunny.
This all gave for a lot of variety, but players got burnt out so quickly, and the numbers show. The game went from having hundreds of thousands of daily players just down to hundreds. There hasn't been a bigger crash since the Roaring 20s.
So how did this happen? Well, to start simply, money became an issue for many players. People enjoy earning what they get in the game. When the sense of satisfaction is behind the paywall, the feeling becomes non-existent. Second, while the characters that were released were fun to play as, there were only 17 launch characters with more on the way, but they were coming way too slowly. They released Morty somewhere down the line, which was a great addition to the game, but then WB proceeded to release characters such as the Gremlins, Marvin the Martian, and Black Adam. While interesting additions to the game, people just didn't care for those characters. These should have been more recognizable characters introduced, like Godzilla, Mordecai, and Rigby. And Black Adam? A D-list DC character? The only reason he's in the game was a marketing ploy for his film, which flopped anyways. Why would anyone in their right minds release someone like Black Adam instead of more popular DC characters like The Flash, Green Lantern, or Aquaman? Finally, my last point, there just wasn't enough to do at launch. There were only singles and duos, which was fun, but got old really fast. There should have been more competitive play as well as other features in the game. A simple example could be from the game's website. The website features all the characters on the roster with each of their descriptions, yet in the game there's no description that can be found. This should have been added in the game to give more depth to the game and have more to look at. But at the end of the day, MultiVersus had a quick rise and an even faster demise than almost any game that's come out in the past decade.
MultiVersus is, in my opinion, the greatest Smash clone to date, and still gives reasons why you should play this game instead of the original Smash game. But unfortunately, in June of this year, the game's servers will be shut down and be brought back up in early 2024 to try and revamp the game and bring back its old player base. So until that comes back up, I believe it's best as a community, we should just stick to the best and original platform fighter, PlayStation's All-Stars Battle Royale.